got a new Chris Pratt movie this weekend called Mercy. In the film, he's on trial for murdering his wife, and he's got 90 minutes to convince an AI that he didn't do it or he will be executed. This is a Screenlife movie, and if you don't know what that means, essentially the entire film is him in a chair looking at a screen, and all we see is what he's looking up, whether body cam footage, security footage from his home, drone footage, cell phone footage with people he's calling, web browsers that he's looking at. And when this genre is used kind of on a small budget, it can be a clever way to keep your budget down, but be able to tell a story in a different type of way. This is like the big budget version of that because it's a Chris Pratt star vehicle that has chase sequences, explosions, shootouts, fights, but the movie is also 95% Chris Pratt in a chair looking at screens. And for me, I think the movie would have worked much better as the $5 million version of the film versus the $50 million version of the film. The central premise of someone having to prove their innocence to an AI is kind of interesting, and using Screenlife, I think, is a fun way to try to collect evidence and see what people see to put that all together. But because they're trying to also make it a big spectacle movie with chases and action and explosions and everything like that, and they released it as IMAX 3D, it feels like it's trying to put itself into a category where it just can't compete. It cheapens the charm of the small size of a Screenlife movie and isn't quite as clever as most Screenlife movies, but it also doesn't deliver on the spectacle side to it. That's not to say that there aren't things that I enjoyed here. I just kind of like these investigation movies where you try to piece it together. Who did it? What are the red herrings? What's really kind of going on here? And doing this AI spin on it is kind of nice. Rebecca Ferguson and Chris Pratt are, of course, entirely watchable. I do think that the basic premise with the AI has too many things in it that are really frustrating, where the rules make absolutely no sense if this is supposed to be a just court, and there's no possible way to collect enough information to have a proper probability of this person having done it in the time frame of the story. So a movie that it's a decent watch if you're just streaming it at home. But the fact that they released it in theaters, for me, I found myself pretty frustrated by the execution of the basic premise here. The idea of a person having to prove their innocence to an AI feels kind of relevant to our current modern times and kind of what you could explore with that. But the movie's supposed to be set just a few years in the future, not this dystopian future, but just literally 2029. And to lower crime, they come up with this more efficient AI system to execute criminals that are very likely guilty. But the way this plays out, like Chris Pratt is put on trial before he even knows what's happened. Like the clock starts and he's still disoriented, doesn't even know what's happening, has no time to collect information, no time to get oriented to what's happening. The AI at times is frustrating. The rules are like, well, you can only call this person if there's a reason for it. It's like he's trying to collect evidence and he has to jump through all these hoops. He's shot down, people aren't prepared. And so the basic concept that just a few years from now we would be using such a wildly flawed system doesn't make any sense. If you set the movie 20 years in the future and you said we're in this dangerous dystopian future where freedom has to be sacrificed for the sake of safety in this AI system, and there's been all these, and you build it out and kind of the whole movie kind of would make more sense, but it's just a few years down the road. And so it just feels so far-fetched. And there's like this constant frustration in the movie because it wanted me to believe that this is something that could happen in the near future, while at the same time having like just such stupid limitations in it. Like quite literally at the beginning of the movie, Chris Pratt is hungover and disoriented and there's alcohol still in his system and he's on trial and has to prove his innocence. You're like, this makes absolutely no sense that anyone would think that this would be a just system in any sense. And that frustration is almost for me, the thing that hurt my experience watching the movie the most, that I just couldn't buy into this concept being just 3 years down the line from right now. I have so many subscriptions, streaming services, food services, software services. Some of them are annual subscriptions that are hundreds of dollars, and they happen over and over again. It adds up quick. There's so many times I've signed up for some subscription in order to do one specific project, and then I completely forgot about it and kept paying for it. And Rocket Money is one of those tools that has helped me rein in my accidental spending and get control of my finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. When I first started using Rocket Money, I realized I had 2 different subscriptions to one of the big streaming services. You can easily see all of your recurring monthly subscriptions in Rocket Money. Rocket Money has the ability to cancel subscriptions within the app with just a few taps, saving time and avoiding charges. Their dashboard also consolidates checking, savings, loans, and investments into a single dashboard to give users a clear view of their financial picture. It's a new year. It's a great time to try and get a grip on your finances. Rocket Money has helped me do that, and it can help you too. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals. Join at rocketmoney.com/Chandler. That's rocketmoney.com/Chandler. rocketmoney.com/Chandler. All that said, was I invested in the mystery? Did the payoff work well enough? Yes, it did. Like, there's enough twists, turns, red herrings that you're like kind of tracking along. You kind of start with one perception of this guy and realize he's a lot more flawed. You realize kind of where that's coming from, but you kind of keep circling about these different kind of perspectives on them. So changes your view of things just enough. And that goes back to why I think the $5 million version of the film would have just worked much better for me, where all the effort goes into, we got to write like a really tight script that uses this Screenlife concept and the use of technology really well. We don't need to focus on doing a semi-truck chase in the middle of LA. We don't need to blow up a bunch of buildings and have shootouts. What we need to do is really narrow in on making some great world building that makes sense and has a really sharp, clever set of twists and turns throughout it. And if you do that, it competes with other Screenlife movies. As soon as we're doing the spectacle movie, we compete with other spectacle movies. Compared to other spectacle movies, other Chris Pratt star vehicles, it pales in comparison. But also as a Screenlife movie, it pales in comparison to Searching and Missing that did a better job with the concept. Other thing you got to talk about with this one, it is IMAX 3D. I did see it in IMAX 3D, and it's one of the craziest examples of a movie being released in 3D that I've ever seen. The idea of a sequence in a movie having someone in a chair and they're kind of like going into a computer and the files are kind of like flying by their face and there's like a screen in front of them of the AI and then kind of set closer to you. There's these screens that are showing images and then there's the person. You can imagine something would be like a really cool depth of field shot and like the information flying past you in words. Like, there's an interesting visual there, but the novelty of that wears off really quickly. And there's a couple points in time where the AI kind of recreates footage in sequences. So he's in an environment as action takes place. And there's a couple times it does that and you go, that was cool. And there was like, once again, that depth of field because of the 3D. And then there's the other 90 minutes of the movie where it's just exhausting and it's visually overly stimulating. There's too much happening and it doesn't serve the film. And in particular, once again, the charm of Screenlife is seeing a screen in front of you that's familiar, but using that to tell a story in a compelling, interesting way and using the screens, the technology that we use on a daily basis in interesting and clever ways. And all of a sudden, it's not about that. It's about the visual spectacle of tabs flying by your face or whatever. And it's like, this is not visual spectacle. This is visual noise doing way too much to my retinas and my focus and everything like that. So it's an example where the 3D, once you go like, oh, this is kind of neat, immediately that wears off and you're just exhausted by overstimulation from the movie. I was actually able to talk about this movie on the news. So here's the segment I did on the news talking about this film.
For one, I'm really excited about it. Already have tickets to go see it in IMAX because that's how they promoted it. Is it worth seeing this movie in IMAX?
You can talk about the quality of the movie in general. There's no reason to see this movie in IMAX or in 3D.
Okay.
It's Chris Pratt sitting in a chair doing an investigation. So it's an investigation movie. And there's kind of the way that it kind of puts information in front of him, and there's screens in front of screens, and sometimes he's immersed in recreated environments, and it looks kind of cool. But the novelty of that wears off very quickly. And then you're just watching a 3D movie of a guy sitting in a chair talking to an AI.
No. All right. Well, is it good? Is it intriguing? Is it worth seeing?
So this is a Screenlife movie, which means it's basically a person using technology to explore something. So it's him like looking at body cam footage, security footage, drone footage, or doing phone calls, but it's him interacting with technology. And there's a lot of fun to be had with these investigations. It's a different type of storytelling. I appreciate that about the movie. But it's trying to be both kind of this small Screenlife movie as well as a Chris Pratt vehicle with car chases, explosions, and shootouts. And I don't think it fully delivers on either one. It's entirely watchable. If you saw the trailer and you went, oh, that looks kind of interesting, there are a lot of twists and turns. It keeps you guessing, red herrings, all of that fun stuff that you want from this type of movie. But it's not quite as clever as I'd hoped it would be. And it doesn't deliver as a big action spectacle because the movie is Chris Pratt sitting in a chair.
So it's basically, it kind of reminds me of Minority Report, minus the fact that Tom Cruise is running around. Chris Pratt just sits in a chair the whole time.
Locked in a chair.
Yeah. What is the point of these movies like this? They're not. They seem like they were going to be really good, but they come out in January and they're just kind of duds. What is up with Hollywood with that?
Well, just there's different seasons where people tend to go to the movies more and they tend to go to movies less. So January tends to be a slower month. Late August, September, when school starts back, really whenever school starts back up, people don't go to the movies quite as much. And you make a movie, you want it to be awesome, and sometimes you look at it and you go, hey, this probably isn't going to compete in the summer. This isn't the Chris Pratt tentpole I hoped. When can we put it out where there's little competition? And you hope that because there's not a lot there, that maybe it'll work. But, that's not always the case. 28 years later, a week ago, I thought it was really good. Next week, Send Help, the new Sam Raimi movie comes out. Another great one. So this movie is sandwiched between two movies that are quite a bit better. But I feel like this movie, if it had been the $5 million version of it that didn't try to have all the car chases and stuff, I would have been better. But because it's trying to be kind of big action spectacle, but not quite, kind of Screenlife, but not quite, it's just kind of right in a little bit of the blend zone. If you watch this at home and you stream it, I think you'll be totally happy. I think it's the kind of movie that would have been great as a streaming movie where you just throw it on a Friday night with your wife, watch a little Chris Pratt, a little Rebecca Ferguson, a little murder investigation. You go, oh, that was a fun little concept. But if you're paying premium dollars, like I got the extra $5 to see it IMAX, the extra $5 for 3D, and all you're watching is a guy look at a screen in 3D and IMAX, like you didn't need to pay $10 extra for that.
I feel like
if you watched it at home,
I need to get my money back.
Fine.
I haven't gone yet. I guess I could get my money back and wait. But
like I said, I think you'll enjoy the movie. But will it live up to Chris Pratt vehicle, IMAX 3D?
Sure.
It's just not that movie. It's him in a chair doing an investigation.
So
it's supposed to be a charming, small-scale story.
This is not the Chris Pratt Lego movie. It's more the Chris Pratt Garfield is what we got.
It's better than Garfield. I enjoyed it a lot more than Garfield.
Okay.
But, right, in our terms of things, this is a lower mid-tier Pratt.
Well, I'm a Chris Pratt fan. I'm going to go see this movie.
Overall, this was a frustrating movie for me because I think I would have had a good time with the non-IMAX 3D Chris Pratt star vehicle version of this movie. Just a person on trial with an AI in a seat trying to prove their innocence. That feels like a pretty easy win for me. But the way they executed it, using the 3D and the overstimulation and everything like that, it just kind of fell flat at the movie they were going for versus the movie that it could have been. I didn't hate it or anything like that. I was fine watching it. I was invested enough in the story. The rules of the trial really irritated me. So yeah, for me, it's a real mixed bag of a film. Overall, I'll go C+ on the entertainment scale, 6 out of 10. And this is one, you can wait to stream it if you liked the trailer, but if you didn't like the trailer, it's not going to win you over or anything like that. Let me know what you thought about the film down below in the comment section, and keep talking movies and TV way too much in 2026.